Radar shows additional craft approaching Area B7R at high speed.
Come 2 to Calm 1. Enemy reinforcements, probably the main force. Report. This is Ground 2. There's 2 of them. Well then, let's have some fun.
Cannot authorize a retreat. Intercept them.
I figured you'd say that. This is gonna cost you extra. Looks like you Lucio mercenaries make the wrong choice. This is a round table. Dead men's words hold no meaning. Hornets, don't let them sting you in the ass. All green units, set ejection handles to green. These guys know what they're doing. Don't let up, even when they're locked on.
Bandits in gun range. Locked on.
Fox 2!
Warning, the enemy's tracking you on radar.
They fly off different than the other series.
Shack on the target.
Brace for hostiles. All planes, it's time to get serious. Don't let these four SEAL fighters get too cocky.
Locked on. Column 1, missile evaded. Warning, the enemy's tracking you on radar. Radar lock.
There's one left. Cypher, I'll take care of this one.
Bandits in gun range. That's a kill. All Belkan reinforcements confirmed in.
Target is in firing range. Schnee 1 to all units. Release your missiles. Schnee 4 to Schnee 1. Target confirmed on the radar. It's him.
They've got a lock. Break.
Stay on guard. Those guys can fire long-range missiles. Captain, I'll take up the rear. Break right! Break right! This one is fast. His flying is unpredictable.
Enemy radar blips are fading. I have a feeling the radar's been jammed.
Jamming. Radar response dropping.
There's an escort craft with ECMs that's interfering with the radar.
Belkan jammer aircraft is down. I can see everything. That pilot's unbelievable. He did all this with those limited contacts. Another aircraft? Push on it down. Team it on Lucio. So that pilot is the demon lord? You've got to fight that. team deal with him.
Missile evaded.
Those steel mercenaries. This is gonna be fun.
Approaching gun range.
Long-range missile approaching. Break! Don't do anything reckless. You'll only distract the Schnee squadron.
Warning, the enemy's tracking you on radar. Radar lock. Golem 1, missile evaded. Radar lock. Approaching gun range. Missile launched. Missed the target.
Watch out. The enemy's tracking you on radar.
Bandits in gun range. Locked on. Shack on the target. Approaching gun range. Radar lock. Target hit.
Yeah! Cypher just bagged a bandit!
Bernard Schmidt, a man with the eyes of an owl. Groom Team Commander, former member of the Belkan Air Force. 10th Air Division, 8th Tactical Fighter Squadron. Fighting with distinguished service on the battlefield, he earned the title of Ace with his uncanny ability to adapt quickly to the flow of battle.
I had a bad feeling while I was flying towards the round table. Why were they having problems down in 2 mercenaries? I figured it was just temporary chaos and it'd be over by the time I got there. Pilots of the Belkan Air Force are true professionals, but when I saw the situation, I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought maybe my IFF was malfunctioning. There were still 2 enemies on the radar. Everyone else in my squadron had the same reaction. This is really happening. Every now and then, guys like that appear on a battlefield. Someone special, you know? I squinted my eyes and confirmed the situation. Checked the terrain, air currents, his plane, his maneuvers, and his remaining ammo. I figured I could do it. I knew what I was getting into, but he still outmaneuvered me beyond my expectation.
Gelb Teams Number 2, former member of the Belkan Air Force. 5th Air Division, 23rd Tactical Fighter Squadron. Rainer Altman. He flew the skies of Directus during the capital's liberation, and he's still there to this day.
I met him above this very sky. I can still hear the sound of the missile alerts from that day. I received an order to fly to Directus on my way back from an intercept mission on the southern defense line. The order itself wasn't unusual. We kept being deployed from one mission to the next without receiving even the basic maintenance. But the situation was the same all around. We were late reaching the operational space. The station squadrons had already retreated, and warning bells were going off in the city. And the people were looking up to his plane, high above the sky. It felt like he could see right through me. He was always one step ahead of me. He matched every combat maneuver I made until I used up every trick in the book.
Schnee Team Commander, former member of the Belkan Air Force, 22nd Air Division, 4th Tactical Fighter Squadron. Eric Hillenbrand. He never had great ambitions. All he ever hoped for was to make a living as a regular pilot. Today he works as a flight instructor for civilian pilots.
The instant he shot me, I pulled the lever. I barely managed to escape from my plane as it burst into flames. After drifting from the blast, I landed below the round table. It was a wide open, barren wasteland. How long would I have to wait for a rescue party? Radio interference within the round table was fierce. The odds of a distress signal actually reaching anyone was low. I was at a loss for what to do. Anyway, I'd really gone out with a bang this time. I took that as a sign it was time for me to retire. But just then, I heard a roaring overhead. It was his plane. I was jealous of his calm flying form. Rather than wait for the rescue team, I began to walk toward the nearest base. I was driven by desire to get back up there and fight him again. Of course, it did take me 3 days to get there.
Every time I flew with him, his skill stood out. He was unstoppable. He would ascertain the situation in an instant and change the tide of battle. He was born for combat. It was no wonder they called him a demon lord. That said, it was hell trying to keep up with him. Before long, everyone had taken notice of him. More and more would show up to watch him go off on sortie. Mercenaries or maintenance crew, it didn't matter. People wanted to burn his image to their memories. Hell, they weren't the only ones.
Hurry up and shoot them all down!
There's no meaning in the round table anymore. What are you fighting for?
The enemy fighters seem to be highly skilled. Don't allow them to take control of the battle.
What are you doing? The war's ended long ago! The table is surrounded by politicians who have never placed a foot on the battlefield. It's a necessary discussion to build a peaceful world. It's a disgusting squabble on who gets the largest share of the fight, and that's why it needs to end. What do you mean? It is for that duty that we raise the king. That's why we're fighting.
Missile launched. Approaching gun range. Bandits down. Nice shooting.
One of the planes is down. Full cover. So this is the Demon Lord. There's something about him.
Bandits in gun range.
Fox 2! Fox 2!
Locked on.
Increase altitude by 50. Now. Warning! The enemy's tracking you on radar!
Approaching gun range. Radar lock.
Captain, we can win this! Don't do. Carry on. damage in 3 seconds. Maintain corner velocity.
Approaching gun range. Fox 2.
The enemy planes fly well together.
Locked on.
All planes, fly as usual. Fly by my orders.
Radar lock.
Go 1, awaiting your orders. Please respond.
Enemy forces have suffered considerable damage. Comm team, you're almost there.
Demon Lord, what is it you hope to achieve on the battlefield? World with no boundaries will eliminate all borders.
All enemy planes are down. There has been no change in plans. Stay on course to target destination.
War is something fought on the desk of politicians. As long as they win in the end, that's all that matters. But for us, it's a matter of survival. In order to survive, you need to analyze the situation in an instant. It's the same as living in a city. The rules of this little city apply just as well to that wide open sky. That guy had the same feel about him as this city.
I bailed out and landed here. The captain was gone. I've lived a comfortable life since then, and I probably have him to thank for that. They ring the bells here at dusk to honor the liberation of the capital. It signals peace, but to me, they are the sounds of death.
When a fighter plane goes down, that's the end. It disintegrates into pieces. Incinerated beyond recognition. It's a scary thought. But it also makes you feel alive. I left the military, but I still fly that sky. But, it's pretty lonely up there all by myself. I'd love to fly with him again someday.
Marcela Vasquez, the Espada team's #2 and former member of the Sapan Air Force, 9th Air and Land Division, 11th Tactical Fighter Squadron. She is thought to be a survivor of the coup d'etat squadron. She currently earns a living as a dancer.
If the Demon Lord hadn't appeared, our lives might have been different. For me, it wasn't about flying or ideals. Most of all, it was about him, my flight lead. Our mission was to escort the heavy command cruiser that was to act as transportation for the organization. And the Demon Lord appeared, as if to block our paths. I will never forget his overwhelming power. One by one, my comrades were shot down, and then the mother bird we were supposed to protect. We survived after the fight. We left our organization and returned to the ground together. But he was heavily wounded. He soon passed away, leaving me behind. We were only able to spend a short time together in peace and quiet. But I don't blame anyone. The regret and suffering that remained after that battle were also what he had given me. They're among the precious few things he left behind.
Anton Kunchenko, thought to be head director of a world with no boundaries, former member of the Belkan Air Force, 18th Air Division, 5th Tactical Fighter Squadron. In his glory days, he was a Belkan ace, and later became head of their Department of Weapons Development and Technology. But the military sent him back out on the front lines as a commander. In March of 1995, he suddenly disappeared along with his platoon and was never accounted for after that. The Belkan Air Force announced that he died in combat. Several months after that, his corpse was found close to the Belkan border. The whole story is still shrouded in mystery.